Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. I put up the wrong background. Here we go.
There you go.
That's a little bit better.
Period.
Because I had to. I just had to.
Yeah, it felt appropriate.
Bom dia. That also feels very applicable for this episode. And welcome to the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay. Gay. I'm holding a fan. I don't know why I'm still holding it. I made for myself today a lovely, wonderful lavender vanilla latte. And it is so good. It is my current hyperfixation drink. Because I finally found sugar-free lavender syrup at the place where I go to get all my syrups. And it's very delicious. And it's a double shot because that's the kind of day we're having. This is my second one of the day.
Yeah, God knows we all kind of need it after this episode.
Cut mug. Go get yours. Merch. There you go. Sorry. Go
Down below. Link, whatever. Lana, yeah.
LanaGcreation.etsy.com. Link is in the description below. And we do ship globally, so there are no excuses.
There you go. Hello. Anyways. Hola. I am Eduardo, the Mexican representative of this podcast. I'm here to talk a lot of shit this episode. God damn. I'm starting to lose hope. Anyways, I'm drinking black coffee because God knows I need it. I'm tired. I am so tired. Oh my God. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, and I am River, your Brazilian correspondent here on the cup. And today I am drinking some water out of my skull mug because this season just died. And this party just became a funeral. And God knows I do not need more fuel than I have right now. So I'm just trying to, keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's also why I'm wearing black. Because as we say in Brazil, essa festa virou inteiro. So, yes.
Well,
Julie.
Well, Julie, I think it is the beginning of the end for Global All-Stars. We are here to talk about episode 4 with some questionable judging. Some judging that I did unfortunately agree with, even though I didn't want to agree with it, but I did unfortunately agree with it. And I'm sad. I'm really sad.
Yeah.
I'm really, really sad. And we're just going to dive into it. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we are still here almost all the time, giving you almost all things drag. We are covering Drag Race franchises, whether we are currently enjoying them or not. Hey, it's a good way to get out our stress and talk shit.
Yeah.
And again, this is no hate to any of the queens directly. This is based on the character that they have presented on this reality program here today. Well, yesterday.
And most especially, production and the judges. For me, at least. Personally, all of my complaints is about production, the judges, the favoritism, because all of the queens are good queens. They are talented. They are all beautiful. I have my favorites. I have some that I don't personally like, but they are all talented and good queens. So,
correct.
Period. Getting that out of the way.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
if anyone is sending hate to any of the queens, fucking stop.
Just go uplift your favorites. There's no need to
go follow your fave, interact with their posts, and move on.
Buy their merch, send them a tip, do those things.
Yes, send love to your favorite instead of sending hate to the people that you don't like. Don't do all that.
Exactly.
Just don't do all that.
Exactly. And do make sure to check out the description below where you can find all of our other audio podcasts, as well as our YouTube channels and our Patreon for exclusive content and early access, including early access to the Look Over Here episodes from all the franchises we are currently covering. Boom. So
Yes.
we come back into the workroom. Athena's gone. I'm still depressed.
Oh God.
Can we
Gone
talk
but
about
never
though, the fact that
forgotten.
this gone but never forgotten Athena Leakis? Can we talk about how the episode length is actually increasing? I think they heard us.
By like 5 minutes. Let's be for real.
Oh, it was like a full 10 minutes from the last episode.
Oh really? I didn't notice. Honestly,
This one was
because
52 minutes.
The runway was still 10 seconds long. Anyway.
Well, yeah. But we'll talk about it. But yes, Athena's gone. Everyone is, congratulating Pythia. And I do agree absolutely with what Eva was saying. Like, she did help everyone. And so Karma did come back to, reward her with that win. Very, very happy with a Pythia win last week.
And she did so well. Like, even if she wasn't helping all of the other queens, like, she did so well. So well deserved.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine what she could have made if she wasn't helping everyone?
Oh my God.
And she was working with latex, which is not easy to work. Like, it was just so impressive. So kudos for her.
Yet again, people are still shitting on Tessa. It's still happening. It's still going.
It didn't happen for much of this episode, though, and I loved it.
Yeah, it happened at the very beginning, and it seems like people are still not feeling her. And
I'm happy to say 4 episodes in, Tessa Testicle is the narrator of the season, and I'm so thrilled. Yes.
I mean, messy Tessie, I live for a messy queen, but fun messy, fun shady, not like mean. It's just fun. So
that's just who Tessa
is. In the best way. I love it.
She's just dumb and messy, and I love her for that. And she knows that.
Yeah.
So, like, she knows what she's there to do. That's the best part about Tessa Testicle, is she knows exactly what she's there to do and the character that she is there to play. Makes me really happy. But we come into the workroom the next day. There's no mini challenge, but we find out that the maxi challenge is a girl group, which I would have loved with 12 queens and not 11, but sure. Whatever, you could have done this last week, but whatever.
Or maybe with 9, and then we had 3 groups of 3, so we could focus more on each queen. But anyways, yeah.
It just felt weird to do it at 11.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's because next week is an acting challenge, and they had to send somebody home that they wanted to send home before she could do well in an acting challenge. So it does make sense to me. Actually. Oh, I'm here to clock. I'm here to clock today, this episode. Many clocks.
I'm happy to hear it. But so to choose who are the team captains, you have to guess the population of your country.
And this is where we see how the school systems are in each of their countries.
And how the American school system, specifically the Texas school system, has failed Alyssa Edwards.
Oh, fully.
100
billion?
And many others.
100 billion? There's not even that many people in the world. Excuse me.
There are 8 billion in the world.
Well, she did say that she counted every multiple personality, so then that does make sense.
And then in that case, I think she was right on the money.
Yeah.
Or maybe even low, but anyways.
I want to talk about how the third closest guess was 17 million off.
Which was Miranda?
It was Queen.
Oh, Queen. Miranda was the second. Okay.
Yeah.
Miranda was second.
17 million. Yeah.
She was under because I think they're
she was a little under.
I think they're combining the population of Australia and Aotearoa, I believe, is because she represents Down Under, which technically represents both countries. I think that's how they did it. Because I think if you were counting just the population of Aotearoa, I think she was right on the money, honestly. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, she was the only one that was like different because she wasn't saying the population of a specific country, but of a region, right?
Yeah.
So that. Well, but
yeah,
that was confusing. But yeah,
whatever. So our three team captains end up being Vanity, Miranda, and Queen. They pick their teams, and I'm a little gagged, gooped, and betriveled that Nelenia and Tessa are the two girls picked last.
Fully. Like, how? How did this happen? Like, hello?
Huh?
Nelenia literally just won a dancing mini challenge. Why are we acting brand new?
Nelenia could have won her talent show.
Like, her talent show was literally like pop star-ish thing. So like for girl groups, it just.
I'm confused. I'm also confused as to why Kitty was chosen first.
She's in a girl group.
She's in a girl group.
Oh yeah, well.
Like the thing she is known for in London is being a part of a drag version of the Spice Girls.
I forgot about that.
Which also
that's why
she's besties with our dear sis Shez. Who is also a part of all of the like the Girls Aloud and the Spice Girls like drag tribute groups in London. So it makes sense. I also think Vanity picking Kitty first makes complete sense because of what she said. I picked Kitty because she's really funny and I'm not. Even though I gotta be honest, Vanity is quickly becoming one of my favorite queens on this cast.
Oh, fully. I love Vanity.
It's just funny when she's off the cuff, like when we see like her personality. She hasn't been funny in the challenges, but none of the challenges ask them to be funny.
She's Alyssa Edwards funny.
Yeah,
that's what I find interesting. Is like she is funny when she's not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. Like I'm loving Vanity on this season. I really am. Loving Vanity. But
love Vanity.
So we love Vanity. So we end up with our three girl groups, each of which get the same song, Say Love, but with different mixes. I did at least appreciate that they were kind of different songs.
Yeah, fully. It felt very different.
Like all of them were very, very, very different. Because we had the Latinx, and I appreciate them saying Latinx. Thank you. The Latinx mix, which ends up being Queen, Soa, and Pythia. We get the K-pop mix, which ends up being Tessa, Miranda, Alyssa, and Eva. And then we get the Europop mix, which is Vanity, Kitty, Gala, and Nelenia. And I do love that the Europop mix was 3 of the European girls and Gala.
Fully.
But I did love the selection.
None of the
selection of genres, right? Like I did love those 3 choices because they are 3 styles of music that have their very specific feel to it. So it worked well for the queens and for us to be able to. So it didn't seem like we were watching the same performance again and again. So and because it's global and they got like stuff from all over the world. So yes.
Yeah.
It made sense.
And my favorite part is that they were allowed to write lyrics in whatever language they wanted to. And that was my favorite part of it because we got so many languages.
Oh yeah.
Like even like I think everyone that could have written in a language other than English did.
I think so.
Yep. At least a little bit.
Yeah, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Except for Miranda was all
she did. Not on her lyrics, but she said the word love in Portuguese on the song.
I thought for some reason I remembered that her first line was in Portuguese.
Yes, it was the word love.
I meant the first line of like her actual bars too, but I couldn't remember.
Oh no, I don't remember. But I think she started saying,
I think she had like a few words.
Regardless, yeah.
That doesn't matter.
So the girls are doing their thing. They're getting everything ready. Alyssa's excited that she finally gets to be in a girl group. Sure.
Mhm.
I do love that we got flashbacks to some of the other girl group challenges from the international seasons. And I was like, Isis Couture on Paramount Plus, Spanky Jackson on Paramount Plus, period.
And then I had a flashback. We had a flashback to the Brazilian one, and it was the worst episode that I had. Like, it was the worst challenge. Like, it was because it was the first. It was a girl.
River, I want you to know
That was
I'm
traumatic.
so thrilled. Oh, I'm so thrilled that we finished season 1 of Drag Race Brazil. But I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. We all watched that first episode and said, I don't know if we can do this.
Bitch, me too. Me.
That's so
I'm
real.
glad we all did though, but like,
Yeah.
It was a
The
struggle.
thing that came out of that episode was, well, some of the looks from the runways, the two first episodes, and the China's verse, because it went viral in Brazil and it's still used today. It was funny, but that's literally it from the first 2 episodes. Like, fuck. But anyway.
no, thank
But
you.
I was already worried for Miranda before, like when it was announced last week that it was a girl group, because for 2 reasons. Because dancing is not her thing, even though like she's a theater queen and she is like a trapeze circus artist, but she's not a dancer per se. And because of the difficulties that she has been having with her body, and it does get worse with time. So she already struggled with that during her season 1 of Brazil, and then here to see her struggling again is just, it's sad, but it is very representative of Brazil, because one of the main things that we are known for and that we are proud of is our resilience. So she's representing us 100%, and I'm so proud of everything that she did. So
I am too. I definitely am too. But so they're doing their thing. We don't get to see them filming their verses, but we do get to see choreo moments.
Mm-hmm.
And the way in this K-pop group that Alyssa steps in immediately and then constantly is like, Tessa, do this. Tessa, do that. Tessa, why are you like this? Tessa.
Very dance mom.
She was
very that.
Going hard on Tessa.
She turned
into
Beyond Belief dance.
Yeah, but to her defense, she didn't just step in. Miranda was a good leader, and she was like, I'm going to delegate the choreo to Alyssa because she's a dance teacher, and that was a smart decision. Because Miranda
it was a very
smart.
It was a very smart decision for Miranda to pick Alyssa first. Like, I think it was,
and that's
really
why she did, I think.
A smart move, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do think that Alyssa could have. I think she did actually like simplify the choreo a little bit because of Miranda. But I think she could have done it a little, like just the tiniest bit more on, not on like the individual choreos or like the chorus, but on the like the formation on stage. I think she could have been a little bit more simple for everyone. But I think she did the best that she could with 4 people with different levels.
It's wild to me that Alyssa, like, for me, I'm going to be honest, the way that they're editing Alyssa, Kitty, and Queen, like, they're all getting villain edits right now. Like, because Alyssa is just so shady throughout this whole episode, being like, no, I'm going to work with Miranda, and then going off and saying, this better be judged individually. And even still, we'll talk about it, because I have thoughts. But
fair.
We get the Latinx group, Divibe was that name of that group.
Yes.
And they are, I mean, Queen and Soa are cut from the same cloth. And then unfortunately they have a very adorable Greek girl, just, also there. Honestly, here's what I'm going to say. I think Queen did mess up, because I honestly think if Queen had picked Millennia, I think that would have been the absolute best group by far, no question.
Oh yeah, I think they could have really pulled something off.
I even think of the people available, like I was a little surprised she picked Pythia, and I'm not mad that she picked Pythia because I love these 3 queens. But of the available options left, I think she even could have picked Tessa. And Tessa would have like fit into that group a lot better, honestly, than Pythia did. But
Yeah.
not to say Pythia wasn't good, because honestly, I think she was.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody did bad in this challenge. I think some people did worse, for sure, and we'll talk about it. But I don't think anybody did horrible. Like, nobody was just bad. No one.
And that's what made the judging unfortunate, and it made me unfortunately agree with part of the judging.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to say this. I agree with the bottom part of the judging. I do not agree with the top. So.
Oh, I don't agree with most of the top or bottom.
That's fine.
So
yeah, I have a lot of problems with it, but yeah.
Okay, we'll get to it. I'm curious.
Yeah. And then over in the Europop segment, Kitty is like, I'm going to wait to see what everybody else does. And then if no one does anything, I'm going to take charge. And then immediately she's like, I did find this funny where she was like, all right, Nelly, that was nothing. And then immediately takes over.
Yeah, she immediately took charge. Immediately.
Which, hey, I'm not mad at. And this is where we got a rare, elusive Galavado sighting in this episode.
Yeah,
I was like, Gala was in the episode. Can we... Why are they not featuring Miss Galavado?
I am so confused. And especially in this episode, I am so confused.
Are you though? Do we not know why? Do we not?
I mean, we know why.
Oh, I have a good idea why, but
we know why.
I mean, yeah.
Because the whole episode I was like, where is Gala? I want more Galavado.
Yeah.
More Galavado.
Yeah, every time that she appeared on screen, I was like, finally, even if it was for...
She got one confessional this episode.
One confessional.
And it was in the workroom stuff where the drama part, I'll talk about the kind of lighthearted part in a second. But the drama part, we get Nelenia is kind of voicing the fact that she feels underestimated by some of the girls and doesn't name names.
When they're on the table before the challenge.
This is at the table part.
Okay.
When she's sitting with Gala and Katie before the challenge. Yeah. We'll talk more. We'll put a pin in that, but I just wanted to mention it here.
We'll get into the other moment.
Yeah.
What I did love in the other moment in the workroom before the challenge is Miranda, just like you talked about, River, the resilience that she represents and that she embodies, being like, oh no, I'm in a lot of pain, but I'm still doing it. And even when even when I thought I couldn't do it.
I'm sorry, I just have to say, because what you just said, that she said, that represents Brazil more than soccer and samba and caipirinha. Exactly that feeling. So go on.
Yeah, but just her talking about, it was the resilience. It was, not giving up, even though, she's pushing her body to the limits. You can tell she obviously wants to be here and wants to do the best that she can. And I do love that, coupled with, we get this like moment with Alyssa and Queen where they're also talking. And Alyssa's like, I was really impressed with Miranda. Like she's not, there's a lot of things she's, less capable of, but she's still doing the damn thing. And what I will say is I'm not particularly loving a lot of Alyssa on this season, but I am loving that she is giving the girls their flowers when they deserve it. And she does recognize when the girls deserve praise. And I do appreciate that from her.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I feel like that little moment really kind of made me forget the issues that I've had with Alyssa so far. It made me really for now, it made me really like kind of appreciate that at least she still has the capability of like seeing the talent and seeing that people are trying their hardest and that people are like wanting to be here. And I love that like she's giving the flowers to someone that's struggling from a smaller like country, like community of
franchise.
franchise. That's what I was going for.
Mhm,
From a
mhm,
smaller
mhm.
franchise.
Because
and still
unfortunately,
being-
Brazil is not as big of a franchise as it should be
yeah, as it should
Yeah.
be yet.
yet.
But I still love that she's still able to see that talent and see that like resilience in her, and still give her the flowers, even though she's still like is still being really iffy about like I still don't want to get judged with her and everything. I still think I appreciate her giving her flowers.
Totally.
Yeah, it's the thing that I said, I think, in another recap about Alyssa is I'm very entertained by her when she's on my TV. I don't particularly like the character that she plays on TV, but I'm entertained by it.
Yes.
But what I did say was my one thing with Alyssa this season is not her; it's how production is editing her story, like and her and everything else. But like, so it's not that. But what I did say was that I don't. My thing with Alyssa is she can be as grand as she wants to be as long as she treats every other queen with respect, and we are seeing that she is doing that. So I appreciate that, and I have zero problems with her, honestly, in that regard.
Agreed.
I know it was nice to see Queen as well, being like, oh yeah, because the queens didn't know that Miranda had that struggle. So they were just judging her and being like, not underestimating her, but being like, seeing that she was not as good and all of that. And now they're like, oh, okay, maybe she's not the best dancer out of everyone, but she's working so hard with what she has. And I was glad that everyone, not just Alyssa, but like all of the queens, were able to see that and praise that and respect her even more for that. So
Definitely.
that was like the best moment of the episode for me, was that mirror moment with Alyssa and Queen.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Well, I guess it's time to go to the runway. Why is Ross Matthews here?
No, extremely special guest, Ross Matthews.
And
Hilarious.
next week it's Carson. Why?
I know.
Is it?
I just
Yes, next week is Carson. Where's T.S. Madison? Not the boar worms.
not the boar worms.
Not the boar worms.
Not the boar worms.
Not the boar
I just got that out of my head. I hate y'all.
Ah!
It's coming back in. It's coming back in.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, don't know
You
why
know,
Ross
I
is
have
here.
to say, like, I wasn't mad at his judging because he is a good Drag Race judge. I just like, if you're gonna tout that you're having so many international like judges, why not? Like, and I'm more upset because it's Carson and then Ross back to back, or it's Ross then Carson back to back. Like, that's what I'm more upset about.
Didn't we have a US judge last episode as well?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
So like 3 in a row. Okay. We get it. Next.
Fully.
Like, here's the thing. We were so, I don't know if it's because we were, as a community, we're so excited for this season that we're so let down. Like, I don't know if it was too much expectations and then it's that, or if it's, yes, we did have a very high expectation, but also this is not good. Like,
Yeah.
I think both things can be true at once.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like.
Like,
but-
the season is not, the one thing that is good about this season is the cast.
Yeah.
And like the production, in the sense of like the lighting, the stage, the workroom, all of that, not the rest of production. And like the one thing that is good about this is the cast and the fact that we're having one person, one queen from each country. But like, other than that, there's no feeling of
it being global.
Of union. Like the feeling that we have when we're watching the Olympics, which is like we all feel united watching something and rooting for our countries. This is not that.
Yeah.
Actually, it is kind of that. Because to me, it feels like, and I'm sorry, Logan, but it is true. No hate towards y'all, but y'all country, which is different. Because I love y'all.
You can hate on this country all you want. Go for it, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But to me, it's very much the same feeling of watching the Olympics, knowing that most, if not all, American athletes are doped. So it's just not. It's unfair. It's angering. It's not fun. Like it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah,
For me
I
at
get
least.
it.
So,
Yeah,
but
no.
I
I
do
get it.
I love the girls and I love the talent, but it's just really upsetting to watch
yeah,
and pretend that we're not seeing it.
Yeah,
Like,
I have to agree with you, River. As someone that's also not from America, it feels very much like, okay, we're fighting for second place at this point. We're fighting like we're not fighting for first place. We've been,
because we already know who's going to be second as well. It's going to be third. So, like,
yeah,
that's
we're just at this point we're just fighting to stay as long as possible and just let the queens that we know are gonna make it far, make it far. Same thing with the Olympics. It's just like just make it as do it as good as a job as you can while fighting against people that are like built to be machines and like that they're always gonna get
Yeah.
like favoritism and are always gonna get like treated better than us just because of from where they're from. And this is just the exact same thing. It just feels
and just
like
because we're used to it doesn't mean that it's okay. Because we are used to it. Because we see it, we clock it immediately because we have been dealing with that for centuries. I was going to say years, but not even that, centuries. So like, it's hard. It's just hard. But the one thing I just want to make clear every time is I love the girls. I love the girls, and this has nothing to do with them.
yeah, the girls are
Yeah.
amazing and incredible. The production is really just bringing everything down to me. Like it just
It's
feels
true.
like
Paul, like,
yeah, it's
let's
really
be honest,
disheartening.
not just production.
Yeah, it's really disheartening to see like such amazing like artists and like people get just downgraded to, oh, you're just Miss Italy, you're Miss Germany, whatever.
Right.
And here is Alyssa Edwards. She is, and it just feels unbalanced and just leaves this very sour taste in my mouth. And it's not because of the queens. It's not Alyssa's fault. It's not Queen's fault. It's not Kitty's fault. But it still leaves very, very ugly, nasty taste in my mouth. And
it's unfair to those queens as well, because then the fans get angry at the queens that have nothing to do with this and don't deserve the hate that they get, because it's also just like it's not the other queen's fault that these queens are getting favoritism. It's not their fault as well that they're getting favored.
Absolutely.
It is not. They're just doing what they're told to do, and everyone is just doing their best. And then production is doing that, and it's unfair to everyone, all of the queens.
Yeah.
Because then they get hate for nothing, and the other queens get unfair treatment. So actually, every queen is getting unfair treatment at the end of the day, which is just fucked up.
Everyone's losing.
It's a lose-lose situation, and it could be a win-win because this season had so much potential. It could have been the best Drag Race season of all time, and they just threw that opportunity away. So my hatred for the US was so strong that it was able to cut Logan's internet connection. And honestly, that just proves my theory that I am a witch. So thank you very much.
Honestly, yeah. What I was gonna say before my boyfriend's router decided to silence me is you're not gonna hear me complaining at all about anything either of y'all said about America. So do not worry in the slightest. Now, what I will say, I'm not going to fully not blame the queens for certain things. And here's why. I feel like the girls that are, and I'm going to go ahead and say it is the RuPaul franchise girls. It's a little demeaning to keep calling her, oh, it's Miss Italy. Oh, it's Miss Germany. Like, I find that a little bit demeaning. Yeah, and whether production is telling them to say it or they're saying it on their own volition, they're still saying it.
Unless it's a joke between the queens and we don't know that it is, I have a problem with that too. But if it is, I'm fine. Yeah. It's just maybe it is and we weren't shown that. So if it is,
based
I don't
on
have a
what
problem
I
with,
have
but if it's not, yeah.
Based on what I've seen, I'm like, it's a little bit demeaning. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it feels very much
Yeah.
like all of the international girls are very respectful about everyone else, but the RuPaul girls are like, oh, it's Miss Italy, it's Miss Germany, it's Miss Mexico, it's Miss Brazil.
Like,
So it feels
baby,
like
you're
they're not
not
trying.
baby, you're not special because you were a finalist on the worst season of Drag Race UK.
You said it, not me.
I sure did, and I'll say it again. On the topic, RuPaul looks really nice. This is a
I
nice
love
style.
this.
Yeah, I really like
I
this
love
outfit.
this.
The star of the night for me,
Mhm.
I gotta be honest, is Jamal's jacket.
Fully.
I mean,
Jamal
It's
just
so
looks
good.
good in anything.
Yes.
or nothing. But yes.
The number of sexual jokes, like every single week, it's the hilarious Ross Matthews. It's style superstar Carson Kressley. It's we all want to fuck Jamal Sims. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what it is.
Yeah, I'm starting to think like Jamal. I'm starting to feel bad for Jamal because it's like
I am too a little bit.
because like
As
there's more to
a
Jamal than being
as
like
an
an
internet
attractive
person,
man.
I am not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I am not. I'm not. It's fine.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But at the
Objectify
same
men as
time,
much as they objectify women.
Unless he expresses, like Evie Oddly did, unless he says that he's uncomfortable with it, I think it's fine because we do it to everyone. To a certain degree.
That's true.
To a certain degree, it's fine. Unless he
but
says it's not. But
I
yeah.
I understand the like sexual innuendos about Jamal, but at the same time, there's more to Jamal than just being an attractive man. So I
There
wish
is so much more.
we would just
Yeah.
get more than he's an attractive man because he's doing a great job at
And I was gonna
judging.
say, if you're gonna do a tagline for him, like style superstar Carson Kressley, like the hilarious Ross, like choreographer to the stars, Jamal Sims, that's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's what he is.
And
He is
also,
more
he
than an
could have been
attractive-
featured. He could have been featured more in this episode because it's a girl group. So, like, I think they could have made like the queens do their choreo, but they could have had Jamal there to be kind of like a mentor, and so that they could
in the way
be like, "Oh, this
in the
is
way
what
that
we have,"
Alyssa
and he could like finesse it a
in
little.
the way that Alyssa was kind of a mentor for that one challenge on
Mhm.
US, like it was like 10 or 11 or something. I don't remember what challenge
Yeah,
it was.
with
But
with
like that
Plastique.
energy.
Yeah,
Yes.
season 11. Yeah. Very much like that. Mhm.
Anyway, let's talk about our girl groups, starting up with Divibe. With our Latinx mix, we have Soa, Pythia, and Queen Kong.
Mm.
Mhm. I love their outfits. I gotta be honest. I love this color combo. I love that they all are wearing extremely different outfits, but it just looks like it's all on the same, like part of the same collection. I love that. Like they look like a girl group immediately. And I love that like all of them they have the only thing that they have in common is with the looks is dark hair and black and a black shoe. And then like the color palette. And everything else is different, and I love it.
They were kind of the most cohesive look-wise
Yeah.
of anybody, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like you said, they're all so different, but they're all giving, their own vibe. It gives very Spice Girls. Where like
Very.
sometimes they were color coordinated, but like they didn't always have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though the outfits are simple in the sense of like it's a performance outfit, they are not basic outfits, I don't think. Like they have enough detail and like the pattern and like it's elevated basics to me. I love this.
Yes.
Like aesthetically, so good. And I think in general, like as a group, they did very well, I think. I think for sure Pythia stood out with being a little bit behind and a little bit more like stiff with the choreo. Like I didn't see her missing steps, but she was less fluid with the movements than the other girls. Honestly, I didn't see a problem with her performance. It was just the other two queens were so fluid and so good with the moves that we were able to kind of see that. But I don't think she did bad by any means. But I didn't really enjoy her lyrics. I think the lyrics were fine, but I really, really enjoyed Soa and Queen's lyrics. Like besides their performance that was also very good. I really enjoyed the lyrics as well. So for me, Queen and Soa were the standouts, and my favorite by far was Queen from this group.
Yeah, I have to say that for me, Queen absolutely demolished the other two girls. I feel like Queen really, really stood out in a really good way. And I think she had, I think, one of the better, not only performances, but also, like, I thought that her lyrics were funny and I also liked where she was going with her lyrics. So I liked what she was doing, and I think she was very fluid in her motions. I've said it before. I think Soa has incredible charisma when she's performing, and she showed that again.
Mhm.
So I think she did a really good job, and I think that's the reason why Pythia kind of looked a little bit messy compared to the other two, because both of them were so charismatic and so fluid with the way that they were dancing and performing and singing, that Pythia kind of just fell back a little bit. And so since she wasn't doing as well as the other two were, and since the other two were doing so great, it just kind of really, really stood out. And so it was very visible to me that she was having a few like problems with the choreo, and that sometimes she would like get a little bit messy. And so I really, like, the moment that it happened, I was like, oh, Pythia is probably gonna be in the bottom. But I think my favorite absolutely was Queen. I think Queen did an absolute great job.
The stage presence. Ugh.
This is going to be a little bit interesting because for me, I do think this group was good overall. For me, I would have judged this challenge in teams,
Mhm.
and I would have had this entire group as safe.
Me too.
That's
Well, if
very
it were by
fair.
group, it
That's
was
very
not my
fair.
favorite. But I think they did well.
No,
but not
and I'm
my
also
favorite.
saying,
Mm-mm.
I'm also saying in general, I would have had all
Mhm.
three of these girls safe if I'm judging everybody individually. I think
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of it, honestly, has to do with the fact that Soa and Pythia had really great runways and Queen didn't. And so it kind of averages out a little bit. Queen would
That's
have been
fair.
high safe for me for sure. I thought
Like number
Queen did a
4.
really, really probably.
5?
If I was
Around there.
ranking, it
Okay.
definitely 4. I'm
I
going to say
think-
4 definitively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would
That
say
makes
4
sense.
for sure because her lyrics were really good. Her performance was really, really
Mhm.
good. She was one of the few people that like didn't just arbitrarily talk about love and instead talked about loving herself, and brought a lot of her, like, it felt very cultural for her. I love the approach that she took with writing her lyrics and the way that she vocalized everything. I think it was a really, really good job. I actually really, really like Soa in this challenge. I thought her verse was a little bit simple, but I thought her presence, like, this is the first time that I'm seeing the Soa de Muse that we saw on season 1 of France. And I'm so happy to see it again because I absolutely love Soa. She is one of my favorite people on this cast. So for her to finally get a moment to, like, I could have seen a universe where she was in the top 3. Honestly, I think there's like 5 or 6 girls that could have been in the top 3 and I would have understood it. Soa could have been one of them. The thing with Pythia, she did flub a little bit and a little bit of the choreo, and it did kind of, it felt like she was a little bit of a step behind in some cases, but otherwise I thought she held her own against Soa and Queen in this group. And I really loved her verse. The fact that we got her doing part of her verse in Greek, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I thought the message behind her verse was really, really good. So, like, honestly, averaging everything out, I think all 3 of these girls for me would have been safe.
That's fair. I don't know if I would have had Pythia safe, but because I think everyone else did such a good job that I think compared to everyone else, I think Pythia kind of fell a little bit short for me. But I understand where you're coming from.
I have 3 people I thought did worse in the performance in Runway than Pythia.
That's absolutely fair. I
get. The thing is, it really differs. It would really differ for me if we were judging this as groups and individuals. So if it was judged by groups, I would have this group safe, so Pythia would be safe. But if it's judging individually, I would put her in the bottom. So
yeah, that's what I'm.
And if
bottom 3.
And mine kind of worked out where my top three and my bottom three came from the same groups. Like, just based on who I thought did the best and who I thought did the worst. Pythia would have been low safe, like just above for me. But I did have 3 people that I thought performed worse overall in the episode than Pythia. And all 3 of them are in this group.
Well, yes. And one thing that we didn't mention is that they were asked to write lyrics not about love, about something they love. Wasn't it that?
Yes.
So it wasn't supposed to be like about romantic love or family. Like, it was just something that you love.
It could have been, but it didn't have to be.
Could have been. It could be, yeah. So it could be like about loving yourself or whatever you want. So that's why what I took into consideration when I was like seeing the lyrics, like if the lyrics are good and if it fits the theme, because some of them were fine lyrics but didn't fit the theme at all. So that was kind of my just to get that out of the way. But yeah, if we were judging, if this was judged as groups, this would be the bottom group for me. But it wasn't. So let's talk about them individually. But it really was like the group choreo was a little bit more messy than the other groups. I think the first group was a little bit messy with the group choreo just at the end, but other than that, it was like the group choreo was fine. But this one, it was kind of messy from beginning to end. Like a little, not too messy, but a little bit, enough that we can see it, you know? And I do like the idea of each of them being a color, but like they don't look like a girl group or at all, I'm afraid. Like at all. But I do think they all look good. Like individually, I like all of the outfits. They all look good. I didn't understand why Miranda didn't have an earring on. Like, just a stud girl. But anyways, that always bugs me. But I did love her in this outfit. I wish her hair was a little bit more teased, like bigger, more styled. But the color of this wig with the blonde streak in front, I love. And I really like this purple outfit as well. I like all of the outfits and they all look great. But Eva was the standout of this group for me. Honestly, with performance and with lyrics, I don't know. It was just it was. I'm a little conflicted because Eva was my favorite, but she didn't really blend in with the group. But she was my favorite, but I don't think this group looked like a group overall for me. But for me, Eva was my favorite with performance and the lyrics. I think out of this group, she had my favorite lyrics. Then after her, my favorite was Tessa because her performance was good. At some points, it was a little bit messy, the choreo, but she didn't like miss steps. It was just because she's very tall, so her limbs are very large, and it was a little bit noticeable because she's so much bigger than the other girls, like taller. But I think her performance was really good, and her lyrics were good as well. But then I am biased, but I am also fair. Okay, Miranda was my least favorite of this group, and unfortunately, I love my girl. I love my girl to death. But she was my least favorite overall in the challenge, for sure. But it wasn't bad. And with what she was working with all of her pain, I didn't notice in her face that she was in pain. So, like, I think, honestly, she was my least favorite, but I truly believe that she did the best that she could. So I'm praising her for that, and I'm so proud. And then Alyssa, I love this look. Obsessed. This is such a good performance look. But her lyrics, no. Sorry. Next. She did great in the choreo, in the group part, and in her individual part. I didn't say she did great. I think she did good. She did good. Good. Good is good. You know what I mean? Good, average, good, solid. I think for me, not exceptional, not amazing. Not she didn't eat. Okay, maybe she drank something, but she didn't eat at all. But I think her performance was fine. I think. But definitely the third of the group for sure. Oh, for sure. And her lyrics, girl, kids bop. Honestly, like, hello, but yeah.
No, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start off with the good. I think Tessa really surprised me. I think Tessa did a lot better than I thought that she would do, and so I was really happy that Tessa did as well as she did. She still did like fine. I wouldn't have her in the top for me, but I think like at worst she would have been low safe for me because I do agree that this is like my least favorite group overall. Like if we were judging in groups, this would be my bottom group.
Mhm.
And I also like I do want to give Miranda her flowers because although she was struggling with the choreo, I still think that her lyrics were good, and you could see that she was trying so hard, that she was like trying to remember as much as she could and trying her best in all of the steps. And knowing what we know about her and knowing that she's struggling so much to even dance, to even stand up, I think her doing this was really good with what she has, but I still think that overall she was my least favorite. However, I was disappointed with what Alyssa gave us this episode. I was really disappointed because with Alyssa, I was maybe it's my fault for expecting a, a super good performance with a great verse. I think she just fell short in almost everything. I think the choreo was fine, but like she just wasn't great with the choreo. And the lyrics, you said it was Kids Bob. It wasn't great. It just it just wasn't
It
giving
was
what I
very
wanted.
much the new Katy Perry song, right? The lyrics, very much Woman's World, very
Yeah,
much.
it gave
hmm
very
And
woman's
I
world.
understand why she didn't want to be judged by groups because if they were, the bottom two would have been Alyssa and Miranda. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because out of the worst group that was this one, she was the second worst.
yeah,
So
I
I think
think Alyssa talking so much shit about like Miranda, not wanting to be judged with Miranda and everything. I think she just got lucky because like she I think she was one of the worst in the entire challenge overall. And maybe it's because I was expecting so much from her that like she just really let me down. That like I would have had her in the bottom in the scenario if we were judging. I mean, maybe even with individuals, maybe I would have still had her as a low placement. I don't know. I just
she
it
would have
really
been
disappointed.
my lowest safe. With
Maybe.
judging individually, she was my lowest safe.
I think I might agree with you. I really have to like look at the looks again to really come to a conclusion. But I think Alyssa really disappointed me this episode. Uh, Eva, I think did a good job. I think she did a good job. I think she was one of the better ones. I don't know if I would have put her above Tessa. Maybe it's because Tessa really surprised me that I think Tessa maybe did a little bit better. But I still think that like Tessa and Ella did fine and were the standouts out of the group. But even then, I think overall they were all fine. I was expecting more out of I think everyone in this group except for Miranda. I think I was expecting what I got from Miranda, so everyone else kind of
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit let down, except for Tessa. I think as well. I think Tessa kind of surprised me a little bit, but even then, I wouldn't have had her in the top. Like she wasn't there.
Tessa looked very much like the Beyonce, the Nicole, because everyone is wearing like purple pink, and then she's wearing gold, and she's like taller, and she has different hair than
Yeah,
everyone. Like she's
she
the only
really
one with
stood out.
with a ponytail, so she kind of looks like the leader of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what it
Which,
felt
hey,
like.
not bad.
Because honestly, if I was judging this as teams or if I was judging this as individuals, my three least favorite performances of this week were Eva, Alyssa, and Miranda.
Mhm.
I think Tessa did the damn thing. I got to be honest with you. I think she stood out in a group that was otherwise incredibly messy. She had her choreo down. I think her segment was very, very fun. I think her lyrics were really, really good. I thought she did a very, very good job in this group. Otherwise, and I love Eva dearly, she dropped some choreo. Her verse was good. Her verse was very good. But she dropped a lot of choreo. Ultimately, she was not memorable to me whatsoever in this girl group. And I do think there are a lot of other. I honestly think Pythia performed better than her in the challenge for me. I would have absolutely had Eva low though, because for me, the two worst people in this challenge were Alyssa and Miranda. I thought Alyssa's verse was abysmal. I am very happy to this day that we did not get her on Read You Wrote You, because it would have been worse than Roxy. It would have been worse than Roxy.
Roxy was iconic. It was bad, but it was iconically bad. Today,
I know. I'm saying Alyssa would have just been bad.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, actually.
I was really, really disappointed in Alyssa. Really disappointed in Alyssa. I didn't even think she looked good. I don't like this outfit at all. I think it's too bulky in the front. She loses all of her shape, and this wig is too big. So.
Oh, I don't think I could ever say that a wig is too big, but hey, that's
I
just
think
me.
for this performance, I think she needed to take one. That's what I'm saying for this.
Because it's like heavy. Yeah. She moves better. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it got in her face in certain moments, and like she didn't look like the Alyssa that we know.
Yeah.
Which was very strange.
But we also need to take into consideration that they need to like get their looks together, and it's like hard because you don't know who you're going to be paired with. So like with the looks, we can
just
give. Well, yeah, I'm just saying like with the looks, we can give all of the queens a little grace because they, But yeah,
she still could have had a different hair. That's what I'm going to say about that. But
fair.
I think Miranda did the absolute best she could with what she was given in this challenge. I do unfortunately think she was the worst. But I think she did the best that she could with what she was given. But yeah.
Yeah.
Because then we get to who I think was by far the standout girl group, and that is the Europop mix with Gala, Nelenia, Vanity, and Kitty.
Yeah. If it was judged by groups, this would have been the winner, the winning group, for sure. Yeah. I think for like the outfits and the aesthetic of the girl group, I think this and the first group I like just as much. Maybe I would say the first one a little bit more because it's a little bit harder to coordinate when it's more than one or two colors. Like for the first group, it was 4 colors. It was black, orange, pink, and purple, right? I think. Yeah. And then here is just like blonde hair, pink outfit, black accessories or shoes, whatever. Which, hey, they look great. They look. If I looked at all of them, this would be the immediate that I would say that it's a girl group for sure.
Yeah.
And overall, they did like with the group choreo and like the group performance overall was really good. And I do think that Vanity was my least favorite of this one, but it still wasn't bad, I don't think. I would have had her in the bottom, and I honestly don't know who I would have lip syncing with Miranda, her, like Vanity or Pythia. It could honestly, for me, it could have been either. I kind of put Vanity in the bottom because of the runways. That was like my untying factor. It's like the performance was kind of on the same level for both of them, but I like Pythia's runway more. But hey, I don't think that Vanity did bad whatsoever. The only thing is that she visibly looked nervous, but she didn't do bad in the choreo, and like she sounded great, of course. I liked her lyrics, and she looked great, but I could tell at least that she was very nervous. Then we have Nelenia, which to me, if this was judged in groups, or individually, she was my winner 100%. No question. She ate this. I loved her outfit. I loved her in the group choreo. I loved her in the individual part. I loved her lyrics. I love her stage presence. I love her. Love Melania. Love. And I just now that spoiler, my representative is gone. I'm rooting for my girl Gala, of course, because Latin America, but also Nelinia. Like those are my girls at this point. And then we move on to my girl or Eduardo's girl, Gala, Miss Galavaro. Which will she ever not look good? I don't think so. But I have to be honest, I really thought she was a standout in the performance and like stage presence, charisma, all of that. But I did not enjoy her lyrics. I just didn't. I don't think it was as bad as Alyssa's. But out of this group, she had my least favorite lyrics. But it wasn't enough for her to not be in my personal top. Because she would, if it was for me, she would be in the top 3 for sure. I really enjoyed her, really did. And then Kitty, I think, did also very well, but I think my favorite part of her performance was her lyrics. I think she had maybe my favorite lyrics of the night. Not my favorite, but like one of my favorites. Definitely like top 3 of the lyrics of the night. And she was funny. Like her and Vanity were, I think, the only ones that put something like explicitly funny in their lyrics. So I really do enjoy that part. But I think Kitty looked great, but she was at least once when she was like about to start her solo part, she was having to pull her dress down. Like we could visibly see her having like it. So like she did well, but she was not a standout for me in this group. I honestly would have had Kitty high safe. But hey, she didn't do bad, so I'm not that mad. But honestly, she did fine. You know, for someone that is in a girl group, like outside of the show, I just like with Alyssa, I kind of expected more. So she didn't do bad, but also she didn't do amazing. You know, so.
Yeah, I think overall this is my favorite girl group out of all of them. And if I was judging it, I would have had either 3 or all of them in the top because I think even the people that kind of fell a little short still did a pretty good job. Because let's be for real, I think Vanity, even though she did look nervous and did look like she was trying to remember the choreo all the time, I still think she did well with the performance, and her lyrics were really funny. And so I don't think that she deserved the placement that she got. I think she did a really good job, even with her kind of trying to remember the steps. I do think that she was the worst out of these 4, but I still think she did a pretty good job. Um, Kitty, I think, was my 3rd favorite out of these group. I think she had really fun lyrics, and I think you could tell that she was having fun on stage. I'm sorry if you hear a door opening and closing. I'm so sorry. But I think you could tell that Kitty was having fun on stage, and I really appreciated that. But I do think that, like, even then, like, she wasn't really in it with the steps, and I think she was just a little bit messy. But I think the lyrics and just her having fun really brought it together for me. I'm biased, but even then, I absolutely loved what Gala did today. I really loved the lyrics that said, "I love money and my freedom. Sexy men don't need a reason." It really just touched me. No, but really, I think
It was kind of funny though. It was a little camp. I'll give her that. It was.
Yeah, it was kind of camp, and I think the performance was really good. And she was one of my favorites as well. But I'm absolutely biased about it. But I absolutely would have had her in top. So I was
Mhm.
absolutely shocked that she wasn't. But Nelania absolutely did the damn thing for me. She was my winner. I think she was. This episode was all about her, and I just
Mhm.
loved everything that she brought to the stage. Not only in the performance, but then on the runway. I think she just was the main character of this episode, and I think
Mhm.
she was my winner. She was my winner, and I think she did a really good job. I loved her lyrics. I loved the performance, and everyone just underestimating her. It just kind of is super frustrating because I see the potential, and I see that she's an incredible queen, and I see what she can do, and having the other girls not see that is kind of frustrating to me. But I really, really love Nelania. I really liked her this episode, and I think she did an amazing job, and I think she should have won.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm going to echo a lot of the things that you all already said. This was my favorite group. And even with some of the nerves that she had, I wouldn't have put Vanity anywhere close to that bottom. Honestly, I wouldn't have. Because I really liked her lyrics, and I thought her in the group sections, it was good. She got the choreo. There was a little bit of nerves, but I still do think that
Mhm.
there were 3 people that performed worse than her in this challenge.
You're
So
kind of changing my mind, actually.
I would
Truly,
have had her low safe,
honestly,
but I would
I would
have.
have had
Yeah,
her like the last of the safes,
that's where
like
I would have
bottom
had her.
safe. Yeah, yeah. You kind of sold me on that. I
But
kind of agree.
yeah, because my
Yeah.
top 3 for this week, whether it was judged as a group or individually, my top 3
Mhm.
was Gala, Nelenia, and Kitty. Um,
Mhm.
I thought all 3 of them really excelled in this challenge. All of them had really fun verses that I liked for wildly different reasons.
Mhm.
For me though, my winner actually would have been Gala because
Work.
I think Gala had the strongest stage presence. I think Gala had the strongest choreography.
Mhm.
And I think her individual section, I remember more than anybody else's.
She's
Um,
mesmerizing to watch
yeah,
every time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
my girl is
Like,
just made
Like
for the
the
stage.
stage presence. Oh my god, off the charts. Can we
and
all say who would have been our top 3 and bottom 3?
yeah. So
After you're done, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add.
that's honestly all I really had to say. But my top
Mhm.
3 would have been Gala, Nelenia, and Kitty, with Gala getting the win. My bottom
Mhm.
3 would have had Eva Low, and then I would have had Alyssa and Miranda in the bottom
Mhm.
2.
And that
Yeah,
is with being judged individually. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
yeah. I think I have to echo everything that Logan said. I think everything we agree on everything except that instead of Gala, I would have
It was
given the win to
Nelenia.
Nelania. I think that
And
Mhm.
Nelania
honestly,
just
for the plot, it should have been Nelenia.
for the plot.
It should
For
have.
the plot, it
For
should
the
Yeah.
have been
plot, it should have
Nelania.
been Nelenia. But
Yeah, but
Mhm.
I would have been happy with either Gala or Nelania taking it.
yeah.
But I
Mhm.
do think
Mhm.
that with everything that was going on this episode, I think Nelania should have gotten the win.
hmm
Mhm. Yeah. And then what about the bottom for you?
No, I agreed with Logan. I think Ava would have been low, and then Alyssa and Miranda would have been my bottom 2. Not my top 2, my
Okay.
bottom 2. Oh god.
Okay. So I'm factoring in, of course, more the performance, but I'm also factoring in the runway to kind of like separate the people that were really close to me on the performance. So with that being said, my top 3 would have been Nelly, because I'm calling her Nelly now because I'm intimate. Not because we're calling her Nelly and I think it's cute. But Melania would have been my winner, followed by Gala, and then Queen Kong for the third high placement. And then for my bottom 3, Logan was helped me change my mind. And so my bottom 3 would have been Alyssa. Actually, no, sorry, because in order it would be Pathia that would have been safe. And then the bottom 2 lip sync would be between Alyssa and Miranda for sure.
I'm not out here trying to change anybody's mind. I'm just saying I didn't agree
No, but
where the judging
because
ended up.
because the
Yeah.
things that you said I hadn't thought about when I like wrote down what I thought. So you just made me rethink some things that I saw, and then you know You didn't have to convince
I'll
me.
take that.
You just helped me think a little bit more, baby, and I appreciate that. Thank
Of
you.
course. That's what I'm here for. But
Mhm.
let's dive into our runway for the week. Category is Color My World.
Was
Some
so
people took
confused.
it. This is the most confusing runway of the season.
This was a
Because
mess.
why did everyone have reveals and we weren't told that it was supposed to be a reveal? Like, it was just
No, we were told. We were
Mhm.
told. We were told. Rue
did I
said
not pay attention?
when Rue announced the runway in the workroom, it was
Uh-huh.
like category is Color My World, a look where you have to have at least 2 colorful reveals.
Oh, okay. I missed that part. Okay, then I
So
was
the
just confused
prompt they were
because I missed
given.
it.
So the prompt they were probably given was colorful multi-reveal runway. That's probably what they were given. So
Mhm.
we're gonna do our brief thoughts here, and obviously we're gonna do our full thoughts over on Look Over Here. So I don't know if it's gonna be brief, but first up, Galavaro.
Well, I'll be brief because I'll talk about the package, not the individual looks.
Yeah.
8 down, favorite runway of the night.
Art, truly art. Did somebody
mention art? Period.
Thank you. As someone that also has sat through an entire Free to Color runway on another Mexican drag program, I still wasn't disappointed by this. I loved this.
Mm-hmm.
Eva the Queen finally doing an evil queen look. Thank you, Jesus Christ, Eva the Queen.
And I think this was the perfect opportunity for that. I love the concept. I love the first 2 looks. I think the third look is fine. But
Yeah,
I just want to say, one thing that I love for this runway is every queen that had a concept. That it wasn't just like colors, but anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the concept. I don't know if the execution really hits it like right on the nail, but I think the idea was really good.
That's exactly what I would have said. The concept was 10. Execution left a little bit to be desired, but I do love that it was all one dress and that she didn't take anything off. I will give her props for that because I did like that.
Yeah, the presentation was clean.
Yes. Miranda Lebrau.
Again, I love my girl, but I am also an extremely honest person. This was my least favorite of the night. I don't think it's bad, but I love the concept. I do love the concept, and we'll get into it more because there's more to it, but we'll get into it on Look Over Here. But unfortunately, love the concept, do not love the outfits, any of them, unfortunately. But love you, Miranda.
Yeah, I see where she was going with this. I understand it. However, it's just I just don't like the looks. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Love Miranda.
You don't even have to be, because we all watched the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand where they were getting at with not understanding the concept, because the concept for me was very clear.
It was so
Quickly
obvious.
clear. But
Boy,
yeah.
girl, non-binary. Like,
It was so obvious to me. Anyways.
the execution did leave a little bit to be desired. This was not my least favorite, actually. It wasn't great.
Oh.
But it was not my least favorite.
Actually, it wasn't. It wasn't my least favorite. It was my second least favorite. I see, my least favorite was so bad that I even forgot that I saw the looks. So actually, it was my second least favorite.
Maybe I agree with you.
Because at least there was a concept. The looks were not good, but at least there was a concept.
Okay.
Yeah. What was not my least favorite, and what I'm going to go ahead and just say was my favorite look of the night, Test the Testicle.
Okay. Not my favorite, but very good. Very good. I just didn't think the wig went with all of the looks, but I love the concept, and the execution could be better, but it's still very good.
I mean, just look at the material. Like, let's be so for real. It's so good. It's really, really good. I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
Clowns! 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 That's all I have to say.
The clownery.
Yes. Bianca Del Rio is somewhere shaking.
Vibrating.
And also with the lip sync with the a lot of clowns this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Moving on to Alyssa Edwards. Unfortunately.
The first look is good. The other two looks are fine, but extremely basic. I don't mind an elevated basic, but this is just basic. But hey.
I was yet again really disappointed with Alyssa in this runway. It's just maybe I've come to expect more from Alyssa, and so this just falls short for me.
Worst look.
Love the hair though. Love the hair. Good. Oh, this was the word for you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, Soy de Muse.
Okay, so this I don't understand at all. At all. But I love it. I love this. All of the three looks I love. I just don't get it at all. But hey.
Yeah, I think for me, there's one look I really like, one look that I like, and one look that I'm kind of medium about. But I think overall the package is pretty good. I think I'm missing just something's flying up over my head. I'm missing something.
The concept wasn't 100% clear. She explained it, but I want to know more about the concept because I actually think this is a really solid runway package. I really, really like this. Next up, Pythia.
This is the shit that I live for. I'm obsessed. This is my kind of drag. Love. Obsessed.
She's spooky, but she's making it fashion. She said it herself. This is fun. This is really fun.
A really, really great look. This was my second favorite of the night. I think Pythia looked absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Second favorite for sure.
Next up, the many, many, many stylings of Vanity Vane.
See, if she would have cut two of these looks, it would have been great. But it was just too much. It was too much. The looks were not bad, but it was just at one point I was like, when is it going to, like, girl, the Russian doll of it all. But I love especially. Oh, that's fine.
Someone screaming. So, Logan, can you go after River so like this can stop?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I love the first two looks and the last one. The two in the middle looks 3 and 4 could go for me.
Coming from the season with the girl with the absolute best multi-look reveal in the world being Miss Admira Thunderpussy, this disappointed me. However, I do appreciate that she had the nerve, the cheek, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption to do 5 looks in one. And for that, I will give her credit.
Okay, the screaming has stopped. Okay. I think I like the idea of this, and I have to agree with you, River. I think if you cut at least 1 or 2 of the looks, I think it would have hit a lot better. However, I appreciate what she was trying to do, and I think I just think she could have done a bit better. But I like where she was going with it.
Next up, Queen Kong.
First thing that I want to say that it gave me Cosmo and Wanda immediately, and I love that. The first look, obsessed. I need it. Now I want it. The other two looks were fine.
Yeah. I was kind of mid in with this whole package because I do like the first look, but I don't like what like I knew there was gonna be a reveal because they said it, but I don't like when like these huge coats are just so obviously just meant to be taken off. So I wish that like there was just a little bit more to it. But I still think she looks great in the first one. The other two needs more. There needs to be more.
The first one was so good that I just wish she hadn't taken it off, but unfortunately, the runway category required her to take it off, and it was not good. Next up,
I wish I had kept it on, please. Oh, sorry. I think this was it was my favorite concept, but I love this. I love her, but I love this. The hair with the bubbles, girl. I love it.
Yeah, I am in love with two of these looks. The other one of these looks I like, and the first look I don't even count as a look because she like it's just a sheet over her. But I think she did a really good job. I really like this concept, and I think the hair is amazing, and I think she did a good job.
Yeah, I think it's I love that we're finally getting like Disney concepts on like a main Drag Race series, and they're actually allowing it by name, which I think is also very fun. A solid concept. The execution did leave a little bit to be desired.
Mhm.
And last up, the several many stylings of Kitty Scott-Claus.
Go on, girl. Give us nothing.
I did not like a single one of these looks or at all.
Love the hair.
Hope you win. And she did. Pedestrian, but not absolutely horrible.
Oh no, but
There's some I like more than others. But
I mean, the first one was fine, but we'll get into it.
It wasn't the worst, that's for sure, but
yeah.
Oh, it was the worst and it was my least favorite, at least.
It's close to the worst for me.
Anyway.
Okay. Oh boy. Let's talk about Untucked.
Oh, I'm just gonna say this now. I have never been so uncomfortable watching Drag Race that when I was watching this Untucked. I have never been so uncomfortable.
Do you want to say who was called safe? And then we can go through chronologically with the girls that were safe were talking, and then the girls that were getting the judges' critique come back in? Because, like, who was safe? Was Alyssa? It was Alyssa, Soa,
Eva, Tessa, and
Gala.
Gala.
And Gala. Yeah. So they were talking about who they thought was bottom, who they thought was top, and all of that, which is normal. They all we get this every episode, basically. And then Alyssa said that she thinks that the bottom were gonna be Miranda and Nelenia. Alyssa said she thought Nelenia was gonna be in the bottom, which is crazy enough of a thing to say after watching what we just watched. But then the queens that were on stage come back, and then they start talking about how were the critiques? Like, who's in the bottom, who's in the top? What did the judges say? And then when Nelly said that she got good critiques and that she was in the top, Alyssa was like, "Oh, but she was mentioned for someone's bottom." You mean you? Do you mean you mentioned that she was someone? What do you mean? What?
I just think
I agree with you, Eduardo, I've never been that uncomfortable, but I was uncomfortable, but not just that, I was mad.
Yeah,
It did
also.
something, I was angry.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, I just think the gaslighting towards Nelly was kind of absolutely insane, because what Nelania was saying was, I think a lot of you guys don't respect me, and I think a lot of you guys are underestimating me. And then the queens that are underestimating her and saying that she should have been in the bottom are like, who's saying that? No one's saying that. You're just making things up. And then they get mad at her because she's expressing her opinion. And I'm just
not even her opinion, her
confused.
feelings. It was her feelings.
Yeah, she's
Like,
expressing
she
herself and saying,
felt underestimated and disrespected.
yeah,
Like,
she's like, I don't like the way that I'm being treated right now by the other girls. I think I'm just not getting treated as well as I should. I think a lot of you are underestimating me, and I don't appreciate that. And then girls like Alyssa, Soa, and Queen, who were just,
vanity
and
as well.
also Vanity, were like, what are you
And
talking
Kitty.
about,
Well,
girl?
Kitty was actually didn't say anything. She was saying stuff in the confessionals.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that later, because then Kitty decides to make it about herself and be like, oh, I just don't understand why Nellie's so upset. I didn't get to talk about myself. I should have gotten time to talk about myself because I'm proud of myself. Excuse me, we're talking about how Nelania, like, I understand that you want to celebrate yourself. And I think you should have got, like, Kitty should have gotten that time for herself. And I understand that. But at the same time, I think if someone is being like, hey, I feel really bad because I feel like you guys are not appreciating me and are just underestimating me, I think you being like, oh, I should have gotten the time to talk about myself, is a little just like read the room a little bit.
Childish.
It's a little bit childish. It's a little bit selfish. And I get it. They're drag queens. They're here for attention. They're attention, like, they love attention, and they're drag queens. Of course they're going to love attention. And I don't blame Kitty for wanting attention. But at the same time, I feel like the way that she went about it, it was very childish and very, like, selfish. And I just don't.
Kind of nasty, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
A little bit.
the way that, like, they were ganging up on Melania and not allowing her to just really say her thoughts, and then them trying to get her to call out people that she thinks are underestimating her when she doesn't want to because she doesn't feel like she's in a safe environment to do so. I feel like they're just gaslighting her to just make her feel even worse. And so I just don't like the ambience that's going on. It's giving me, like, really, like, bitter
Mean
taste in my
Girls.
mouth. It's giving me Mean Girls, and it's sadly leaving a bad taste in my mouth about these girls that are kind of pushing Melania down. Like, I like Queen and I like Soa, but in this moment right now, I just really didn't like them, and it gave me just this awful taste in my mouth, and I didn't like it, because I know that they're probably incredible outside of Drag Race, but this episode just really left a sour taste in my mouth that I just didn't like, and it just made me really uncomfortable. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I felt like it was just really mean, and it wasn't fun.
Production, the editing was trying to paint Melania as crazy.
Yeah,
And not only was everyone ganging on her, and the people that were not joining in the conversation, no, and not everyone. Most of the girls were ganging up on her, and the girls that were not ganging up on her were doing nothing. Were just listening and not standing up for her whatsoever, which they don't have to. But I'm just saying, they didn't. They could have, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
But, and here's the thing. I understand Miranda in the middle of everything, like getting up and going to get, because she knew she was in the bottom.
Mhm.
She knew she had to change, and they have limited time. So when
And that's
Miranda
why I
said,
didn't
I'm sorry,
ask her
I need to go
to-
change. Yeah. And like, she had enough things to worry about because she knew she was in the bottom. So like, I understand her being more focused on what she needs to do in this moment. But the girls that were safe, like Soa especially, which seemed like such a sweet person. And when Melania mentioned that she felt disrespected, it cut to a confessional of Soa saying that Melania was asking for love. And it was like, no, she was not. She's not asking you to be her friend. to give her love, to lick her feet or any of that. She's literally asking to be respected as an artist and a person. And if you think that respect and love are the same thing, then I'm so sorry for you. Because respect is a basic need for everyone. And if you're not willing to do that for someone that is your like work colleague or whatever, and like that does the same art as you, if you're not willing to give that person respect, then I'm sorry, I'm turned off. Like it just, and here's the thing, being defensive and being like, and not being able to see how your actions are affecting someone else, or maybe she was like, okay, in my head I wasn't being disrespectful, so then she got defensive, which I understand. But getting up and storming out, like the only thing that she didn't do that she could was like slamming a door, because it was very much when you get mad at your mom and then you get up and you slam the door to your room. It was very that. And it just, here's the thing, I do get it, they're drag queens. I love when we have drama on Drag Race, but I love petty, stupid drama. This was not that. This was not fun to watch. It was not entertaining. It was not. It was just bad. It was just bad. And honestly, a lot of the queens that I still like, a lot of the queens that are on this cast. And like, I understand it's not all black and white, but like, I have a different view on some of the queens after this episode for sure. I'm still rooting for all of them as people and artists, and I hope that they have a wonderful life. But just, it's just
the characters that some of them are playing on this season, whether intentional or edited, feel very strange, especially coming from people like Soa and Kitty.
And Queen, that was so like motherly and warm in her season. Like, it was.
And I'm
so
gonna put
weird.
Alyssa in there too. It's just like, it feels very. It's like, what are we not seeing? That's what I'm leaving with. It's like, what are we not seeing? What are we missing from this interaction? I will also say that Nilenia has said since that like all of this is water under the bridge. Water off a duck's back, if you will. So don't go out hating on queens. But I also like,
maybe even if they hadn't resolved it, even if they still had beef, don't send hate to the queens, period. Like, I'm glad they worked it out, but even if they didn't, like, it's no reason to send people hate. You can be mad like we are, you can be uncomfortable, but just don't go send them hate.
I have to say, though, my favorite part of this interaction is we get narrator Tessa Testicle popping in, being like, I'm kind of living for the drama because I'm not part of it.
Oh, and Vanity as well. When
Vanity
something about someone that should have been in the bottom or whatever, and she just broke the fourth wall. I was like, me too. I love that.
I love that.
So good.
I loved it.
So good.
I do appreciate that
I love it.
And Vanity walking off too, like what y'all were saying about Miranda, like Vanity walking off too, I don't think she needed to express her anger towards Nilenia. I don't think any of that anger was necessarily because of Nilenia. I think it was anger at herself that she was disappointed in her own performance. And unfortunately, she did take it out on Nilenia. Now, as we go back to the main stage, for the plot, it would have been absolutely beyond fucking entertaining if they had given this win to Nilenia.
And they should have.
Which I would have been more than okay with. She was my second favorite, so I would have been more than okay with that. But we end up, our top three is Queen, Kitty, and Nilenia, with Kitty getting the win. I see it because of her redemption situation from her girl group on season 3 of UK. I get it. She was my third favorite. So, like, ultimately speaking, based on her performance, I wasn't, like, the most upset that she won. But based on her actions in this episode, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
And I think there are other girls that haven't had a high spot and haven't had, quite frankly, critiques from RuPaul. I think there are other girls that could have had that top spot other than both Kitty and Queen.
I agree.
So
Yeah, Kitty did well, but it makes absolutely no sense to me how she was in the top and Gala was not. It makes
I agree
absolutely
with
no
that.
fucking sense
Mhm.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
I agree with
But
that.
she wouldn't have been my winner. She wouldn't even be in the
I
top
would've-
for me. But hey, it's fine.
Like, I even would have been, if it had been my my top 3 and Eduardo's 2 of Nilenia, Gala, and Kitty got the win, I would have been more okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I still
But-
wouldn't have agreed, but I would be. It would make more sense.
It
Yeah.
absolutely would make
But-
more sense.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
And I think also with the whole situation that was happening in Untucked, it really left like I wasn't a big fan of it because of what happened in Untucked.
I think
I
production
agree.
thought maybe by the way that they edited Untucked, I think they thought that the audience was gonna be on the Queen's side instead of Nilenia. I think
yeah,
because if they thought that we
That's
were
what it
going to be
seemed
on the
like.
side of Nilenia, they would have given her the win because it would have been better for the story. So I think they are misjudging the audience that they have, I think, at this point.
I don't think they expected us to love Nilenia the way that we do.
Mhm.
So
The waits after this episode, a lot of people that didn't even know who Nilenia was are rooting for her to win the season because of this episode. I am so happy for that because it's
Yeah,
absolutely
thrilled about it.
deserved.
I'm thrilled about
Mhm.
it. But we end up with a bottom 3 of Vanity, Miranda, and Pythia.
Mhm.
Okay, I wouldn't have had that, but
Sure.
of these 3, and I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, English speaking favoritism, blah blah blah." I'm gonna say, objectively speaking, of these 3 entertainers, based on challenge and runway, I think Pythia did the best of these 3. And I think she
Yeah.
was very rightfully safe. I don't really love that. I understand why she's being lumped in with like Queen and Kitty and Alyssa because she's Canadian. But you also need to remember Pythia's 3rd language is English.
Mhm.
She may be
And she
fluent
was
in
not
English.
judged by RuPaul. She was not in a RuPaul judge
Exactly.
season.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to me.
She may be from an English-speaking franchise, but she is also from Montreal, Quebec. Greek is her first language. French is her second language, if I'm not mistaken. And English is her 3rd language. So to lump her in, I think, is just disrespectful. And now there's like
Just because her English is really good, like, okay, it's still not her first language, so it's
but,
whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
we do unfortunately get a lip sync with Miranda and Vanity. I didn't want to see either of these 2 go home, so it was disappointing. But we get a lip sync to Spice Up Your Life by the Spice Girls because sure.
Mhm.
Girl group, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This lip sync was not good. I gotta be honest. It wasn't bad. It was not bad. But it was a lip sync to me. It was just
It was a lip
fine.
sync where someone I think did better.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love Miranda dearly. I really do. I really do. I do think Vanity outperformed her because I think
Yeah.
Me too.
Vanity did a really good job. Honestly,
Mhm.
I think her lip sync was good. I think her comedy was really good. I think she's
Mhm.
underselling herself as a comedic queen. I am never going to call Vanity Vane a comedy queen because that is not what she does. But I think she is very comedic in a lot of ways. And I thought she brought a little bit of that into the lip sync. I appreciated Miranda's approach to the lip sync. I will say that much. Unfortunately, she was dropping a lot of the words. It was a really unfortunate draw for her.
Yeah.
That the second elimination challenge was a girl group challenge.
Is the one thing that she's not good at.
The one
Like
thing
the one
she-
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She struggles with. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I do have to say, as much as I love Miranda and I love her. I liked her on her season, but she wasn't my favorite. But
I agree.
I still liked her, but I like her even more now. Like I love her, and I do have to say we have to be fair. I'm gonna be fair, even though the season is not. This episode, I think everything with regarding Miranda was correct with the judging and all of that. I think it's correct for sure. Nothing would change, but she for the first 3 episodes, the way that, well, 2 episodes that she was a part of the challenges. The 2 times that she was judged before this were absolutely not fair at all, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
as much as I agree with the decision today and with her going home, I think maybe her story would have been different if she had been top for the first week and safe for the last challenge. I think she would have had more of a chance. But I still think, because she said, and we kind of tell that she was struggling with her body and being in pain. So as much as I am sad to see her go, I'm also happy for her because I think it was the best thing for her at that time to be going home. Because I think, I'm sure if she had stayed, she would have pushed everything to the limit because that's what we do. And I don't think it would have been good for her. So I'm happy for her personally and for her health. But as a fan of especially Brazilian drag, I am sad. But
Yeah.
we are so proud, and she represented us the best that she possibly could, and everyone here is extremely proud of her. And yeah, she can leave with her head held very high, as much as she can with the pain. But yeah.
And I'm really disappointed that not in her at all. I'm not disappointed in her whatsoever. I am disappointed that Brazilian drag is not going to get more of a global spotlight in this way. Because I will say, going into watching Drag Race Brazil last year, I knew very little about Brazilian culture, period, let alone Brazilian drag. And since watching that season, I have fallen in love with Brazilian culture, Brazilian drag. Like, I really, it is you all have just an amazing culture and an amazing resilience. And we keep using that word, but that is the right word to use.
I mean, it's part of our history. It is what it is.
Exactly. And I think it's just a shame that production did not see the beauty of Brazilian drag, but I am happy that Miranda portrayed Brazilian drag in the absolute best way. And I'm sad to see her go, but I absolutely agree with you. I am happy for her that she got a break, because she is the person that was most affected by this whole, when they filmed it, the circumstances with which they filmed it. So will always be a fan of Miranda the Bow.
Like the fact that they asked her to be on Global while Brazil, Drag Race Brazil 1 was going on, was airing. So the fact that they called her, she went. They knew that she was not going to be able to enjoy the whole time of being one of the finalists and going to the watch parties and going to the finale watching and all of that. She had to miss all of that because she went to Global. And for them to do that to her, knowing that they were going to send her home early, robbing her of that experience to do that to her on Global is why I'm upset. Because she was the one that probably had the least time between filming seasons. So that was hard financially because she didn't have time to, after Drag Race Brazil, make money. And also on her body because of her condition. So it was just extremely unfair from the beginning, I think. So I'm even more proud of everything that she did.
Yeah, I believe her and Tessa, I think, actually had the least amount of time between filming their seasons.
Because it was very, very close. Their seasons were very close, right?
They filmed Mexico, Brazil, and Germany back to back. So Gala also is in a very similar situation as well.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Gala has a beautiful resource by the name of AVSQ. So, but I I agree.
Yeah, I also have to say that Miranda was one of my favorites throughout this entire ordeal. And seeing her struggle and seeing her constantly like just keep pushing and pushing herself more and more and more, it just showed what Brazil is all about and what Latin America just is trying to constantly do to like just be seen and be heard and be appreciated. And it's very sad that Miranda didn't get that opportunity, but at the same time I think her going home right now is what's best for her body and for her health, not just physically but mentally. And I also think that her going home in this way is gonna show people that like people are upset that Miranda went home, and so people are
She's
gonna
going
go
home a
out.
fan favorite, so it's good.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
people are gonna go out of their way to look at Brazilian drag and look at what Miranda was doing and who her competition was, and so I think
Mhm.
it might be unfortunate for Miranda now, but I think moving forward, she's gonna have a great, great reception with the fans, and I think a lot of love is gonna go towards her. And so, even though she didn't get the best cards that she was dealt with, I think she still is gonna come out with a lot of love and a lot of fans, and I think that's what the best thing that you can ask for in this situation. And so
Mhm.
I know that Miranda is not Mexican, but I still want to give her so much love for representing just Latin America. And her just going home and screaming Latin America, it made me even sadder, and it made me just I love her so much. And now she's gonna be one of my favorites moving forward forever. And I just love Brazil and I love all of Latin America. And so it just losing one of my sisters. I'm losing one of my sisters. So it
Yeah,
hurts a lot.
losing your family is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
So we'll keep going for you, Brazil. We love you. And Miranda, you're such an amazing, amazing drag queen, and I love you so much.
Nos te amamos,
Love
Miranda.
Miranda.
Love Miranda.
Tira
Miranda.
o bicha. Eu vou botar um sabonete na minha boca.
Period.
Is that very entrance line with putting a soap in your mouth? Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our draft really quick.
Mhm.
For the first time, not the first time, but for the first time in a long time in Drag Race history, I'm in last.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wild.
I know. It's still a very, very close draft, though. I am currently sitting with 25 points. River, you currently have 26 points. Robbie has 28 points. And currently tied for first now are Eduardo and Dawn with 29 points each.
Yay. This is the best I've done, I
so
think.
but it's
We're
pretty
very
close,
close.
between everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
I can't wait to see how this turns out. And next week, we have an acting challenge. I'm worried.
I'm really worried. I'm so
Mhm.
it's not
I'm worried.
I can kind of smell it already. I'm smelling it. It's
I smell the
having a
smelly
vision.
smell of this.
I see it. Mm-hmm. I smell something
I don't like where
suspicious.
this is going. I don't like where this is
Weird.
going. It's weird. It's getting weird.
But on that note, we are going to leave you all for this occasion. But thank you for joining us for this beautiful recap of Global All Stars Episode 4. As always, make sure to check out our Look Over Here episode where we are diving into all of our thoughts on the Color My World runway from this episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share on the way out. We are here covering all of the active drag franchises. And we will be covering both cast assessments for next week for Drag Race UK and Drag Race España. So make sure to tune in for those as well. On your way out, make sure to check the description below where you can find all of our audio podcast links, our other YouTube channels, our Patreon, our social media, and where you can get your merch, including but not limited to cup, mug, lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is down there. And with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. So, boom. I didn't have the outro video ready. It's fine. I'm going to stall until I have the video. Now I have the video. So cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Puta que pariu, caralho. Vai se fuder, irmão. Podem. I just love swearing in Brazilian. I'm not saying Portuguese. I speak Brazilian.